It might feel like there's never a perfect time. Maybe you're freaked out about licensure, or you don't think that your skills are quite where they need to be for you to start taking clients. And those are really common things that I hear, and we're going to break that down, so stick with me. I'm Libby Rothschild, founder of Dietitian Boss. My company helps dietitians start and grow their private practice by leveraging the power of social media marketing. Our vision in this company is to give every dietitian who wants to start a business the tools and framework to help them be accountable to getting started and becoming a private practice operator. I want to break down 5 things that you think are holding you back from moving forward and how you can debunk those myths and start your private practice sooner. The first tip holding you back from starting a dietitian private practice is feeling that you have no niche. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You do absolutely need to have your niche identified, but that doesn't mean that not being clear about what that looks like at this point in your journey should hold you back from getting clients. You have to give yourself space to evolve, and that process happens the more experience you get with clients. And you can only start working with clients if you imperfectly put yourself out there. So you got to give yourself permission to start promoting your services, taking clients, and giving yourself the space to evolve as a practitioner. So not having any niche doesn't mean that you cannot put yourself out there and start your private practice. Again, give yourself some space and time to progress and iterate as a practitioner. And that's a big part of entrepreneurship, is really evolving. And you can see that in our clients. In our podcast, I interview them. I have a series called Then and Now, and I'll interview the same person maybe 2 or 3 times so you can hear their journey from no niche or having a niche and evolving to something else, or maybe fine-tuning their messaging over time. But what's a common thread among all these interviews in our podcast is that the dietitians and our clients, they don't make excuses or give up. They just keep going, and what they do is they give themselves the opportunity to evolve. Niche or no niche, they still get started, and I want you to get started too. The second tip that I hear most commonly is life stuff. Now, this is a really common objection that I hear a lot, that you're remodeling, buying a new home, you're still in school, something's going on the personal side, and where this can be very true, and we've seen it a lot with COVID, right? Maybe you're taking care of your family members you hadn't anticipated, or you're homeschooling, and I have a lot of empathy for those situations. Additionally, in those situations, it's the best time for you to have stronger drivers for getting your practice started and needing a community to do so. That being said, there's never a perfect time. And we're going to talk about school in a minute, because that can be a great opportunity for you to build your online presence and get your business off the ground. And when it comes to all of the extenuating circumstances in your life, just keep in mind that there might not be the best or the most perfect time for you to do something, and that's where the taking imperfect action really is important at this point of the journey, and just getting started and getting your feet wet, so to speak, is going to help. So just keep in mind that you're never going to have an entirely beautiful, perfect circumstance. So if you hear that banging in the background, that's because there's construction outside. And there's no perfect time for me to record this video, and I have some metrics in the company to put videos out every Monday morning on this channel and inspire you, because the mission of this company is to disrupt the field of dietetics and create more private practice operators. So it's not ideal that there's this construction project. No matter where I go in my apartment, I hear it. It's haunting me. And it's, not perfect, and I'm still putting content out there anyway, and I hope to role model for you in the same situation when it comes to not knowing your niche and taking imperfect action and having some life stuff come up, as we all do, and then really continuing to still make progress despite those perceived setbacks. The third thing I hear holding you back is makes a little more sense to me, and that's not knowing what to charge. And that's a really valid concern, because school didn't really teach us as practitioners how to package your services, right? That wasn't in the syllabus or the curriculum. That wasn't even an elective class. That wasn't discussed in any of my schooling. Now, I know some programs now and internships, and there are some opportunities that talk about entrepreneurship now, and that's fantastic, but it's still not quite enough. And so it's completely understandable that you might not know what to charge, and that can feel like it holds you back. That being said, getting started with something is better than nothing. and nobody is gonna, hold you to what you charged for your first 5 to 10 clients or 3 to 5. That being said, the price point for the first few clients doesn't matter. I don't suggest you do free work. I do suggest that you charge a price point. You can offer something, a bundle, a single session. I'm not a huge fan of that long term, but if you're looking to really just get some momentum in your company, getting a few consults or bundles under your belt, for a few $100s here and there, if you're using that as a marker or a goal to get to the next level, makes perfect sense. So when in doubt, I understand that it might not feel supernatural and intuitive for what to charge, and charging something and then increasing your price point as you get more demand is really where this conversation is going. So I suggest that you charge anything, get started, and know that whatever you're charging, and it's not set in stone, your price point is not a tattoo. You can absolutely increase with time, but if you never charge anything, if you don't start promoting yourself, you're gonna really be set back behind. So think more from a mindset standpoint that it's about getting things moving versus the exact dollar amount that you're asking people to pay you in real time. The fourth thing that I see holds many of you back is not knowing how the business will look long term. Now, again, this I completely understand as well, especially because the term private practice is pretty much a broad concept. Private practice just means you're not working for a government organization, you work for yourself. Private practice can look differently. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to coach clients. Private practice could mean passive income. Private practice can mean a combination of taking insurance clients and cash pay. So there's a lot of different iterations and ways that a private practice can look. You can do private practice for 10 hours a week. You can have coaches work under you. So what I want you to think about is not getting too hung up on exactly how it can look, but just looking at some of the options and knowing that you can customize how you want your business to look based on what you enjoy, based on what you're good at, and then based on how you're able to evolve with your skills and time, right? Because you are going to have to learn. If you want to hire coaches under you, you're going to have to learn how to manage and lead. So there's going to be a lot of fun learning lessons down the line in your business, depending on how big you want to scale it and take it. That being said, if that kind of freaks you out and you're getting too hung up on the future, right? Because maybe that's just like too broad for you at this time, just start thinking about some smaller steps, right? So just keep going back to, I'm going to get a few clients, make a few $1,000s under my belt, and then reassess the situation. And when in doubt, which is understandable because only 8% of dietitians own their own business, you can always listen to my podcast, Dietitian Boss, and hear interviews from our clients. We've got hundreds of interviews from clients in different stages, and you can hear how they built a practice that's worked for them, from membership to courses to insurance to a combination to students to people who are retired to second career earners to international dietitians. You can hear how they make it work for them. So I would suggest not getting too hung up on how it will look, but just remembering to take it step by step based on your personality. The last thing, the fifth thing that I see people get hung up on is licensure. Again, completely understandable because the way that telehealth works, especially after COVID and access and state lines, it can be a little bit confusing. Now, we do have a free guide on our website at dietitianboss.com in the upper right corner that was co-created by our team's lawyer to help you understand how licensure works. That being said, if you want to practice according to the academy within their scope of practice or within their code of conduct, you do want to do your due diligence and check where do you live, what's your scope of practice, and does your contract cover that, and are you practicing according to your contract? So you're just going to have to connect the dots and make sure that you're looking into that for wherever you reside. It's part of being a regulated practitioner. So doing your work to check where you live, what your scope of practice is, and what you're selling, and then have a contract to complement that can be the first steps. And then you also can seek lawyer support for any further information. We do offer a lawyer in our team when you work with us in our program, and we have constant check-ins and conversations where she's able to give you support, because what you're offering and what your scope of practice is and where you live and where your clients live, there can be some details as you progress and change your offer with time, and you just need to make sure you're compliant. That being said, shouldn't hold you back, especially if you're doing broad-based education programming, which is going to have more access than it would if you were doing private counseling or private coaching. That being said, you just have to make sure you're ticking your boxes, you're doing some research, and you're getting things sorted so that you can start to help more people. if you found this video helpful, I want you to check out more of our content by watching this video, and don't forget to go on our website at dietitianboss.com in the upper right corner and grab that guide from our lawyer, that free guide to learn more about licensure, so that you can dot your I's, cross your T's, and get your compliance up and running so that you can start getting clients faster, making money, and feeling aligned with the work that you do.